Alright, we're back. Doing another deck tech today.
Merfolk.
Okay. Yep, so, modern.
Yes, modern, of course. And the good old-fashioned Merfolk list.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this isn't quite the old-fashioned one. This is new-fashioned.
I'm seeing some red things that I'm not expecting.
Yeah, so this is Izzet Merfolk.
Mm. Is it?
It is.
Yeah.
So, we have the 4 Aether Vials, of course.
Yeah, it's a Merfolk deck.
Yeah, it's a Merfolk deck. Helps us cheat on our mana a little bit, and of course allowing us instant speed interactions and lords, which just makes combat a nightmare for the opponent, because they have to think, does he have a lord in hand? I don't know. And 4 Curse Catchers, this helps us, it's a cheap Merfolk, and it also helps, tax the opponent a little bit, because they have to play around it up for important spells.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have our 4 Silver Gale Adept. This, of course, draws us a card, and it costs... We either have to pay 3 or reveal a Merfolk from our hand, but when...
That's gonna happen.
That's the hand.
Yeah.
That's basically the deck. So, just a 2/1 that draws us a card.
Also, you don't have to pay that if you Aether Vial it in, too,
Yes.
which is worth noting.
Yeah, if you're not casting it, you don't have to worry about the cost. So, Aether Vial also helps us get around that. And then we have our collection of lords here. 4 Lord of Atlantis, which other Merfolk get +1/+1 and have Island Walk. This, of course, counts the opponent's creatures, too.
Yeah, so if they have, like, a changeling.
It has to be weird.
Yeah.
And 4 Master of the Pearl Tridents, which is other Merfolk we control, get +1/+1. And Island Walk again.
So strictly better, somehow. I would think.
Yeah. They modernized it and made it strictly better, pretty much. And then we also have, for the other 2 drops, we have 2 Phantasmal Image. Basically more lords in this list. Yeah. Sometimes it'll be a Silver Gale Adept just to draw us more cards, but in most cases it's just more lords.
Yeah, usually it's that.
Then we have a single copy of Kira Great Glass Spinner. This basically stonewalls our opponent's removal spells because it counters the first spell that targets any of our creatures.
Yeah, forcing them to throw away a card.
Not a Merfolk, even though I think it's underwater in a little bubble there.
She's in a bubble.
But a spirit instead. And then we have 2 Miro Rajiris. So this is another Merfolk Lord. And this one has the added effect of when we cast, essentially, when we play a Merfolk spell, so cast, he can tap or untap a permanent. So this doesn't work with Aether Vial, but this helps us get the last little bit of damage in. Like if we don't happen to have our Spreading Seas to enable our Island Walk, he can tap down the blockers that way.
Yeah.
And moving on to... I guess we have a few of the weird creatures. So we have 1 Jori N, Ruin Diver. Majorly because we have this very nice promo version of her.
Yeah.
Very pretty. She is a Merfolk Wizard, and when you cast your second spell each turn, draw a card. And this list does play a few more spells than Merfolk does, mainly instant sorcery, so hitting that is a little easier than the lists that go all in on Merfolk.
And they're quite cheap.
Yes, well that's what I mean, like they're cheaper spells than having additional Merfolk like normal mono blue lists have, so this is an effect we can trigger. And then we have 2 Hazoret the Fervents, not a Merfolk. It's a god, just
a casual god.
Just a casual god.
Slight upgrade.
5/4 indestructible haste, and it can't attack unless we have 1 or fewer cards. But again, we're playing a lower curve, so getting down to that many cards isn't too difficult.
Yeah, and it lets you toss stuff that your opponent...
Yes, it does. Sometimes that's you just gotta do.
Yeah.
And then moving on to the spells, we have 4 Vapor Snag. This helps just clear the board of blockers.
And it's a cheap...
Yes, cheap spell to enable Jori, but just cleans out our hand and returns a creature, so just tempo play.
Yep.
4 Lightning Bolt, since we're playing red. I mean,
it's Lightning Bolt.
Best removal spell in the format.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then we have the good old Spreading Seas. Since 8 of our lords specify Island Walk, we of course play 4 spells that are very nice enough to give our opponents islands.
And nice enough to cycle.
and even cycle doing it. Yeah. But you turn their land into an island and all your Merfolk are unblockable.
Yeah, pretty nuts. Especially if you have like multiple lords and they're huge.
Yeah, like once you start getting multiple and the opponent's like, well, I can't even do anything. I can't even block. And then for lands, we have 7 islands And then we have this 8th island here, which is a Mystic Sanctuary. So this one, if it enters untapped, we can put one of our spells back on top of our library. I like having 1 copy of this because sometimes your opponent's at 3 and you just put that lightning bolt right back on top of your library.
Yeah.
And they just have to cry to themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have
sometimes they're at 1 and you put that vapor snag.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes you can do that too. So yeah, I like having 1 copy of it since we're playing majority islands.
Yeah.
Having 3 islands shouldn't be too difficult for the list.
Nah.
We have 4 Scalding Tarns as our fetch land. Can fetch either side, but everything in this deck is an island, so... Or any fetchable land is always going to be an island, so it doesn't really matter. Yeah, including the Sanctuary. Yeah. Which is... Yeah, I like that they printed those.
Me too.
And then we have 2 Polluted Delta, just as extra little bit of fetch land and thinning. Mm-hmm. And then we have the 4 Steam Vents. It's an island and a mountain.
Yeah.
So still fetchable, but provides us our little bit of red that the deck does require. And then 2 Fire Islets. So these aren't islands for this, but I still like having these because they cycle too.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's what you need.
Yeah, and then if you start getting flooded, you can just trade them in.
Yeah,
So.
exactly.
Yeah. All right. Excited about this? And we will see you with this tomorrow.
Bye!